Where are you declaring that variable? You're declaring it inside of the function. So that's scoped.
It's like every other one.
So that means it only resides inside this function. You're trying to reference it outside the function. You have no idea what that is. So there's a couple of things you can put in there.
Are we sitting in our,
Here, you have variables outside and leave them valid. And then you define
make sure that usually would encourage them to have change further. I mean, maybe not like just those actions.
All right, good morning. Wow, that's the lowest attendance ever. Parking? Okay. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. I was like, did people quit before the project? Okay. So if you are not, please make sure you are sitting with your group because all the activities today will be in group. And hopefully it's the parking. So let's give 5 more minutes. We'll start at 10:05. Maybe people are getting here.
No, but that did the same one. But there's another one. Well, we're not telling them.
The browser's gonna stop. So it's gotta be.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Most of the groups, almost every group is here. Goose and Shauna, do you know? Oh, there it is. Do you know about Kelly or no idea? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome to week 8. The next 2 weeks are project week. All right. Somehow you guys made it to 7 weeks of this course. So yay! Everybody is here. To be honest, this is the least in my cohorts. This is the least. This is the class where least people have quit yet. Only 2. But that was also in the beginning. Some people just come in to make sure if this is the course for them. Could be medical reasons, financial things like that. But we still have 32 strong. So it's what I feel like. It's like I feel like this is like a boxing ring, and you guys are getting punches every week, but you still like get up and all right, next round, next round, next round. You guys like make it to week 7. I hope that it kind of continues, but again, I've seen the trend. People still, especially when we kind of go into the back end, people still. Well, you guys are here now, so I'm glad. So let's see what we are going to be doing in the next 2 weeks. Okay. So you guys are in your groups. Let me quickly go over the agenda for the 2 weeks. Today is important. I'm going to show you some. So the groups are done. The main goal for today is that you guys are going to submit a proposal for your projects. Okay, I'm going to show you the format. I'm going to show you what you have to do. All you have to do is think and come up with a project. Okay, so you're going to discuss. I'm going to go through these activities as quickly as possible so that I can give you a lot of time today. So you have time until 2 to submit a proposal that what you guys are going to be working on. Okay, there are some rules, regulation, some criteria for the projects, and I'm going to go over each one of them. Take note of that, and then when you are thinking about your project, make sure you qualify every single thing of it. Okay, and I'll go through it. So that's the agenda for today. And then before you start on your proposal, I'm going to show you some every day for this week. I'm going to show you some collaboration techniques that can help you make your project better and collaborate better. That's what my goal this week is. Okay, I'll do a couple of activities today to help you get started, and each day I'm going to do some of them. Okay, the next week, the second week of project is mostly dedicated. There might be some activities that I want to do it, but that probably just takes like 15 or 30 minutes at most. Depends on how much I'm talking. But I want to give you more time to work on your projects. But please understand that when you come to the class, that's not the only time you guys are working on project. Okay, you guys understand that you guys are working outside this class also on your projects. Okay, all right. Day 6, which is October 10th, Thursday, that's the presentation day or the demo day. Okay, we'll go over it, what it entails, what is required from the presentation. But October 10th, Thursday, is when you guys are going to come up and present your project to the class. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? I'll go into the details. Okay. Maybe we'll wait for the questions towards the end. Okay. All right. So the first thing is please take this seriously. And the reason is this project and the other two projects are going to become your portfolio. Okay. When you go for an interview or somebody is looking at your resume or LinkedIn, these are the projects that you will be putting over there. Okay. And they're going to be asking you about these projects. Okay. What did you do in this project? What technologies you use? How many people were in the group? Okay. How did you collaborate? Was something happened? There were disagreements. How did you solve the disagreements and all that stuff? Right. These are real questions, and people at interview do ask them. Okay. This you guys don't have any prior experience, so this is going to be your experience. Okay. Now within the group, I know when you guys come into this class, everybody has a different motivation. Most of you guys are career change. So if in a group that's not your goal, please be mindful that 3 other people in your group has that's the goal. Okay, so please take it seriously. If not for yourself, for the other. Okay, be a contributing member. Take it seriously. Um, the other thing is this is open-ended. Okay, there are some rules that you need to follow. That's all. Other than that, it's open. Whatever you think, whatever your group thinks, that idea, you guys have that knowledge, right? There's an interesting concept. It is, I don't know if you guys have heard the imposter syndrome, right? Where people don't actually feel confident. You guys know it. I know it. I see your homework. I see some of your activities. You guys know it. Okay, it's just you are not maybe confident enough. Okay, this is the project that will help you get that confidence. Now the teams that you are in, everybody has a purpose in it. Okay, um, take this as a learning opportunity. Okay, there are something that I show you in the class, right? I do activities in a certain way. You might think this is like, oh, maybe this is how senior people do or something like that. Okay, but this is a time that you can see your fellow students how they are working on. Okay, take this as an opportunity, learn something from it. Okay, see how somebody else is coding. Copy that style. That's what I have done over my career. What I do, I'm good at is imitating other people. So I look at their code. I'm like, oh, this is a good design pattern. I'm going to follow in my next project. Right? This is how we learn. Okay. Um, the last thing that I want to say is there are 3 important things when you're working in a team. Okay. Number 1, communication. Number 2, communication. Number 3, communication. I'm telling you, this has been the number 1 disruptor in every cohort I have been, in every project I have been, right? There's always one team or 2 teams that are like, oh, it's not working out. Okay. Uh, we are all adults here. We are all professional. Okay. But what do I mean by communication is, let's suppose you are not going to come to the class. Okay. Now, before I know or the TAs know, your team should know that. Okay, please communicate with your team that I'm going to be late. I'm not going to come. I'm being remote for the next 2 weeks. Okay, your team is important. They should know before I know or the TAs know. Okay, I cannot tell you, there have been many times I'm walking around helping everybody, and then there's a project missing a member. I'm like, hey, where's he or she? They're like, no idea. Please don't be that person, right? You are sick, you cannot come in, just let them know, oh, I'm not going to make it. You guys will have team meetings outside the class. You will have a meeting point. You cannot make it, please let them know. Okay. I know some of the reasons are people are embarrassed or something. Everybody over here is professional. Okay, if you're working at a job, you won't like hide from your boss or be like, oh, I'm not going to show up because this is not done, right? Be professional, be courteous, let them know you're not going to make it. Okay. The second thing is task. You will be assigned task in your team, right? Everybody will be a contributing member. You will get some assigned task. If you're not able to complete it, there's no shame in it. Okay. Please communicate with your team. Tell them, hey, I tried. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm kind of stuck over here. Okay. Be honest. Be straightforward. Instead, what I see people are, I don't want to use the word ghosting, but people like kind of hide. And when I ask the team, they're like, well, we gave her or him this part, and we have no idea what's happening. It's kind of missing link, and I don't know what to do. Okay, please don't be that person. If you're working on a task, give updates. Keep your team updated what's going on. Okay, if you are stuck, your team is there to help you. Okay, but please let your team know what is going on. Talk to your team and tell them, hey, this is a task. I know I was given 4 hours to complete it. I don't think so I will be able to do it. I need a couple of more hours. I'm kind of close. Okay, that's good. Or if you're stuck, hey, I'm stuck. I have no idea what to do. I need help. Okay, this is better than hiding for a day and not responding to text message. In this day and age, I find it really hard that somebody is not reachable. All right, especially, I mean, we are engineers over here. Slack is there, text messages there, exchange your phone numbers. There's no way. I mean, I've heard every excuse. Even if you're sick, right, just text message and say, I'm sick, I won't be able to make it, or I'm going to go to sleep for next 4 hours, I won't be available, I'm having this medication. Or don't tell the medication, of course, but be like, I'm sick or something, right? Nobody is asking you for details. All right, give as much details as you like. Yes, Ethan.
And just again, like just reiterating, be honest.
Be honest.
The thing that we saw in our cohort that basically happens in every single cohort with projects is someone in the group will say that, people will be like, hey, is this working, or you got it? Yeah,
Yes.
I got it. And then like the night before you have to present the project, that's when they're like, oh yeah, I could never figure it out.
Right.
And then
Please.
everyone's scrambling last minute to try to fix it. So again, if you don't know what you're, how to fix what you're working on, be upfront about that.
Yes. Be honest, be upfront. Again, this is a 2-week project. There, you don't have much time to spend on a task, right? The most you should spend on a task is like half a day or a day at least. Okay, that's how your task should be, like smaller, right? If you're spending like 3 days on a single task, either your task is too big or you need help, but you're not asking. Be honest, right? Just be honest. There are occasions where I am working, I cannot figure out 2 hours. I need to go to some senior person or somebody on my team. I need to ask them, hey, I'm kind of stuck over here. Can you like give me a push, help me out? What's going on? Okay, be honest, be straightforward. That's much better than thinking, oh, I don't know what my team is going to think, so I'm not going to reply to their any of their messages, or not going to show up any meetings. Okay, because after 2 weeks, remember, you are still in this class. You have to come in this class, yeah, right? You are going to face everybody, so it's better, be honest, have a good relationship. Okay, because everybody, these are your 31 relationships right there, LinkedIn connections right there. Okay, so you don't want to start off on a wrong foot, or have a disagreement or something. Okay, now among your team, you're going to have disagreements. Be professional, be adult about it, sit down, solve it, and move on. Okay. Oops. All right, any questions? Does everybody understand? Please make sure you are communicating with your team. All right. Now, some less serious part now. I think it got super serious. So, project teams, everybody is on their team. So there are two things I would like you guys to do right now in the next 5 minutes. You guys are going to pick a team lead, right? Again, a team lead is not somebody who is proficient in code. The leadership skills is a bit different, right? There are people who are good at coding, but they don't want to be leaders. That's also fine. There are people who have some leadership experience and qualities, not necessarily they're good at coding. Okay, the same way that not every engineer is good at teaching, right? You will find some engineers are genius, but they cannot explain what's going on. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, so pick a person who's going to be a team lead. That's the first task. Okay, the second task is I do projects with some theme or project names. Okay, for this project we are going to do Game of Thrones. Are there fans? No fans? Why? All right. So first come first basis. Either you can pick a house, just raise your hand and shout it out. That's your team name, or anything else related to Game of Thrones. You can pick it out. Fresh is Tully. You want to do that house Tully?
Let's do it. We're gonna do Winter is Coming.
All right, how Stark is gone.
No, we already said it.
Targaryen.
No.
Targaryen is they said House Stark.
I like to finish.
House Stark, Targaryen, you are gone.
Totally. Winter is Coming.
So, House Stark, Targaryen, Tully, and Lannisters are gone. Martell is also taking it. I know, okay. Two more. Aaron. Greyjoy, there you go. I was like, where's Greyjoy? All right, awesome. All right, so we have 8 teams. All right. Okay, all right. So you guys have team leads, team names, everybody good? Okay, we'll come to the team leads part when you are submitting the proposal. All right, so important. These are the requirements, absolute requirements for your projects, right? I'm not giving you a subject that what your project has to be, but any project that you do should use at least 2 APIs, okay? 2 or more. Cannot be 1, cannot be 0. 2 or more, okay? If you're using APIs, of course, you are going to use Ajax to pull data, right? There's no other way you can get the data. All right. Third one is important, at least one new library or new technology that we haven't discussed in the class. Okay, it could be a JavaScript library that you might have used in your project or not, on your homework, or you are reading somewhere. See how you can use that in your project. Okay. At this point, make sure your UI looks nice. I know I've seen a lot of great UI, so kind of keep on that path. Make sure your front end is polished, looks nice. The biggest thing I've seen is in the projects is the color scheming. Okay, make sure there is a if you're interested, it's called Google Material Guide. Okay, they have good color combinations that are accepted, that are standardized, that is recommended to use on your websites. Take a look at this if you are not aware. The reason I'm saying is some of the previous cohort I've seen that present a project, they're displaying on the screen. The button is pink, but the text is black or something, and you know when you hover over it, it's all hidden. I cannot even see what I'm trying to click. Okay, make sure you're using some good practices. If you're using different colors, that's fine. Just make sure you can actually see it, especially when you hover over it. By default, there are some settings, so make sure everything is good. Okay, a good way is Google has a really good guide. It's called Material Guide, and they have themes like with blue color, what do you want to use, and it kind of takes care of people with disabilities and all that stuff. Okay, so that people can actually see your website. Good quality standards, extremely important. Make sure you are following good quality standards. Scoping, naming, you have proper variable names, indentation. Format your code before you submit it on GitHub. Okay. Please don't use alerts, confirms, and prompts. Okay, I know we have taught you. There are better ways, especially with Bootstrap. You can look into modals, kind of looks nicer. I hate alerts. They kind of block the whole page, okay? So don't use those. Instead, look into modals, right? There are nice UIs. You can have the exact same things with modals also. All right. Incorporate some kind of a repeating element. This means have a table, columns, basically something you are, when you're showing on your screen, something is repeating, right? These are more complex elements. That's why they are kind of mentioned over here. So you want to make sure that you are familiar with those little bit more complex HTML elements. Okay, you can use Bootstrap or any other CSS framework. Right. In the next slide, I will show you there's a second CSS framework that's really popular. It's called Materialize. You can use that if you want, or you can use Bootstrap. All right. Second last. What is it? All right. Second last, deploy your site to GitHub pages. This is extremely important. When you come to demo, it should be deployed. Deployed means that everybody in the class should be able to access your website. Okay? I don't want anybody, I don't prefer anybody showing it from localhost or 127.0.0.1. That just means you're running it from your computer. All right? This means nobody else in the class can actually access your website. I prefer when you're demoing because I want to run your website. I want to verify how it's working. You want to showcase your website. Okay? So make sure it is deployed. Okay? Input validation, necessary. Make sure no empty spaces. If you have a date, make sure that the format is correct. You are validating all that stuff. Okay? Any questions on the requirements? Now, when you are done with your project, it is going to be graded by the TS, and they are going to look for each one of them. Okay? So you get less points as the requirements are missing. All right? I want to clarify this because in the previous cohorts, there's always that one group that comes and they're kind of harassing the TS. No, I did this, I did this. These are the absolute requirements. These are must-haves. Okay? If you don't use two APIs and use one API, you're going to get a lesser grade. Okay? Doesn't matter how nice your UI looks like. Okay? It could be just UI with no backend. You're not going to get points. You're going to get points for this, but no points for anything else. Okay? Any confusion, any point from over here that you want to clarify? Okay? The TAs will post the requirements also and we'll pin it on the Slack board. Yes?
Where's the place to try to find libraries that we haven't discussed in class?
Oh, there's something called internet. So how do you find those libraries? Right. Again, Google them. Try to find, read some article. That's how I would find it. Right. Look into some JavaScript. So what I would do is first, when you come up with your project, let's suppose you came up with a movie project or something. Super simple. Okay. Look into some of the libraries around it. Okay, I want to do this. Is there a library in JavaScript that helps me do it? That's how I would do it. Right? There's no like a big list that I can tell you. You go and search. Again, it's based on use case. I don't know what your project is, so that's why I cannot tell you what library to use. But I would say search for it and see what you can use. Okay. All right. Any other question? Okay. These are bonus. I don't know why they put Firebase as a bonus. I would put it as a requirement, but in my previous cohort, it was used to be a requirement, but I think it was a point of frustration. So it's not a requirement to use Firebase. It's a bonus if you use it. It's a bonus. If not, still okay. Okay. But if you're storing any data, right, you have to use Firebase. I mean, from the class perspective, we have not studied any other data storage. So Firebase is the one that you would use if you're trying to store any data. The second is the one that irks me most. Make your site mobile responsive. I don't know why it's a bonus. It should be by default should be mobile response. Should be a requirement, but these are the rules. So I would prefer if your site is mobile. If not, then it's you're not going to get any negative points for it. Okay. This is the framework that I was talking about, Materialize. If you don't want to use Bootstrap, Materialize is one of them. What is it? Can you use Bootstrap? Yeah, you can use Bootstrap. Yeah, I'm saying if, so this is, I shouldn't be saying that, but people use Materialize and say, oh, this is the new technology that we have used in our programming. Please don't do that. Materialize, I've already given you the hint. Just find something other than Materialize for this check mark that we have used some new library. Yeah, a new library or a technology. It could be anything. Doesn't have to be a library. Doesn't have to be a JavaScript library. Could be a CSS framework that you find. Uh, Something related to Google material. I don't know. Something different. Okay. Any questions on this? Are we clear on the requirements? Okay. All right. Let's see what is next. Oh, this is good. All right. So let's move on to the presentations. So October 10th, that's the presentation day. Okay, that's going to be our Thursday class. So what are we looking in a presentation? It's going to be, every group is going to get 10 minutes. All right. Practice your presentation. Make sure it is within the time limit. The 10 minutes include question and answer also. So I would recommend 8-minute presentation and then 2 minutes of question and answer. Okay. Now, what do you need in your presentation? It could be a PowerPoint. Eventually, you do have to show your project, right? You have to show the website that you have created. It's working, okay? Some people do have a PowerPoint presentation also. Some people don't. It's up to you guys, okay? What I'm more interested in is demonstration of your project. You can show your project working. That's the first thing, right? GitHub, it's deployed. Show all the fields, live demonstration, and you can also show your code. Maybe you use some really good coding practices that you want to share with the class. Acceptable. I would love that. Okay. But some people do, they're good at PowerPoint, so they do PowerPoint presentations. If you are doing PowerPoint presentation, so kind of divide your time, right? Maybe like 3 minutes of PowerPoint presentation and the next 6 minutes of your demonstration of your actual website. Okay. Definitely stress more on the demonstration of your website. So as we see, your demonstration that has a more impact versus just doing the PowerPoint. Yes, Simon.
So could we do a PowerPoint slide out on website and have
Yes.
volumes?
So you will have to Slack out your website. Yes. Why? Because so that everybody can kind of access it. But it should be because if I want to follow you, if I want to follow the website, it's kind of hard to follow it from the PowerPoint because you'll have fixed pages and say, hey, go there, go there. It's better and faster. Will save you time if you just show your website and say, hey, this is how it's done. Okay. If you're doing a PowerPoint is more like you would say, oh, this is my team. These are the technologies that we use. These are some of the hurdles that we faced, and this is how we overcame and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the presentation? Yes.
So who gives a presentation? Does it have to be the team leader? Or
No.
anyone
Anyone. I've seen all three variations. Sometimes the team lead does it. Sometimes anybody other than the team lead does it. Sometimes all 4 people do it. 4 or 3 people, right? What they do is they kind of take turns depending on what task or somebody has done. Let's suppose you have added authorization in your project, right? It's optional. I mean, you don't have to do it. But let's suppose you want a login screen and everything, and somebody actually worked on it. They know they're better at it. So they take turns. Hey, this is a piece that I did or we did as a team, and this is how it's working. And then the second person takes a different task. Okay, so you can share, you can do one. It's up to you guys. Decide that as a team. Okay, good question. Nobody has asked, but usually somebody in every cohort asks the dress code. Okay, presentation dress code. There is no hard and fast rule how you have to dress up for the presentation. Again, this is my preference. Preferably business casual, right? Again, I have had teams who have dressed up completely full on formal, also suit and tie. Same thing with the ladies, whatever the formal is. I'm not sure, but you can Google and find out, right? Formal dressing. People have come in shorts also and given the presentation. There's no hard and fast rule. again, I prefer, how would you go in an interview, right? Even for the tech companies, you will see that tech companies have told me, hey, we are super tech casual. Um, don't worry about the dress code. You can come in for the interview. I still go as business formal. I've never worn jeans or shorts in interview. I know it's a tech company and they know, but dress up as how you would dress up as an interview. Okay, preferably. You don't have to. Decide as a team what you want to do. Again, but to show my I wouldn't say dedication, but my commitment. Every project demo, I dress up business for business casual, and that's how I come up. Just to give everybody, if somebody's like, oh, I don't know, nobody in the class is going to be wearing business casual, you will have one person who's going to be wearing. So I every cohort, every demo, all three demos, I come dressed up as business casual, slacks, shirt. That's how I come. Okay. So if you're feeling you won't be the lonely person in that. Okay. So that's the dress code. Again, please be aware that our Brent might show up, SSM, somebody from University of Arizona kind of drops in, especially for demos. They Trilogy or you2 kind of likes to advertise. So there might be somebody who might come, who might not come. They're like, hey, our students are giving demos. You want to stop by? So expect that. Okay. Any question on the presentation? Everybody clear on the dress code? Decide as a team. Okay. Any other questions? Good? All right. Some of the things you guys will be graded on. The TAs have a Rubik's Cube. They kind of go through it. But more important part, just to give you a high level, the concept, what your project is, the design, how the UI looks like, the functionality, is it actually working? Is something happening behind the scenes or just the UI with some hard-coded values? Again, the TAs are going to go through the code, okay? You're going to demonstrate the UI and everything in the class, but behind the scenes, when you are getting your grade, the TAs are going to look for your code as well. Okay, they're going to verify everything, make sure you followed the rules and everything is in place. Okay? Let's see, show you some of the. All right. Now we are kind of getting technical. So any questions before we kind of dive into some more technical stuff? Everybody clear? Good? Excited? No? Come on. Why are you not excited? This is the chance to show your skills. All right. API suggestions. When you are choosing your project, again, you can choose whatever you want. I would recommend I select out list of APIs, free public APIs, take a look at those APIs, and if you cannot think of a project or you don't have anything in mind, I would say look at the APIs and kind of structure your project around it. Okay. For now, you will choose an API, but as soon as possible, make sure you are getting the data back from that API. Okay. A lot of times, what happens is people pick up APIs. 3 days later, when they're actually coding, they realize that there are some issues, or you have to pay for it, or it's not public as they thought. So please, as soon as possible, make sure those APIs are actually working and doing something. Okay. One of the biggest issues that you might face is called CORS. Okay. Some of the APIs have some restrictions over HTTP versus HTTPS. It's a security issue. Well, I shouldn't say it's an issue, but it's a restriction. Make sure the only way you will run into that issue or know this issue is once you make an AJAX call from your code. Okay, that's the only time you will learn that. So that's what I'm saying. Pick an API, quickly write a piece of code that makes an AJAX call. Make sure that you're not running into this issue, right? It's called a CORS issue, and you will get a nice error from Chrome saying cross-origin resource not possible, you're not authorized, and all that stuff. Okay. Till now in your homework you haven't faced because the APIs that we have picked are not restricted by this. Okay, Giphy API, the movie APIs, those are fine. But there are a lot APIs that kind of takes this and say, so what happens is your code is running on HTTP, especially localhost, and these websites do not allow HTTP connections into HTTPS. That's the reason, basic reason for this. Okay, but not all of them do it, so make sure that's not one of the requirements. Authentication, as I said, that's the other one. Some APIs require authentication. Make sure you are familiar how to do that authentication, or don't do it at all. Okay. The backend team or whoever is responsible for the APIs, that's the most of the time where it goes. Okay, so get on it early. Make sure that you are able to get data. If they require authentication, see if you can figure it out. A lot of the times they have good documentation. You can figure it out. That's good. If you are not, either pick an API that does not require any authentication, okay, or requires simple authentication. How would you find it? Test it out. Okay. Make sure it returns a JSON response. There are APIs that will return you XML response. Don't do it. Okay. So make sure it's getting. Documentation is important. If you're picking an API, make sure they have a documentation that you can refer to, because if you get stuck somewhere related to an API, right? You come to me or the TAs, we don't know about that API. What are we going to do? We are going to look at the documentation and try to decrypt the documentation and explain it to you, right? If the documentation is bad, if there's no documentation, it's kind of hard to help. Okay? So make sure you understand the API, or maybe it's so nicely written that you don't even need a documentation. But how would you know it? Test it out. Make sure when you're choosing that API, make sure you are able to get data. Okay? All right, any questions? All right, some of the really popular APIs are these. They have good documentation. You will find a lot of information, a lot of issues solved on Stack Overflow related to these APIs. So if you're using one of them, make sure you understand. Spotify is for example, I don't know about these. Oh, we have used this one. Let's see, Spotify and any of the Google APIs, they have really good documentation. Everything is documented. The only thing is they do require some authentication, and that's where people kind of get stuck. Spotify especially, it's good, but you have to follow the instruction and understand how to get the data, and they have authentication required. Okay, but they have good documentation, and they tell you how to authorize. They take the security over here is super strict, right? I'm sure these also, but I haven't looked at these. These for sure I know. Again, Spotify, you can get all the data, everything will be good. The only thing is they do have authentication. So make sure you understand. It's a good learning experience, right? Because that's how the APIs are. And Google means you have Google Maps, Places, Streets, everything. All the APIs kind of are bundled under Google. Okay? All of them are free to use up to a point, but I'm pretty sure you guys are not going to reach that tier. I think it's 10,000 to 100,000 connections or something. All right, any questions? Again, these are just the more popular ones, but again, remember our Rapid API portal. Go there, pick up any APIs from there. There was a public GitHub API that I shared. I'll look it up again, and I'll post it on Slack again. It has a lot more APIs. Make sure, if you, depending on your project, you can choose any of those APIs. All right, of course, choose a free one unless you do want to pay for it. That's also fine. Okay. Any questions? Good. All right. Let's see. What do we have? All right. Collaboration, communication, important. Now this week, at the beginning of the class, I'll show you some tools that will help you in your project. Of course, they are not mandatory, but those are tried and tested, and they help people kind of be on track with their project. So I'll go through them in every class in the beginning of this week. Okay, we'll go through this next time. I have already uploaded this PowerPoint. Some of the projects that people have done in the past, just to give you an example, um, they're using Seed Geek API to kind of get events from different teams, and they build the UI around it. Could be something like that. And then they're using the eBay API to purchase those tickets or some of the items that are related to teams, right? Some from the past, somebody has done related to UN data API. They have data for population and different demographics and everything. So that could be something. Okay. Face++, I'm not sure, especially with the security things going on today. I'm not sure if this is still applicable. If you want to use some face recognition one, those are a little bit more trickier, especially, of course, with the security and everything. So, but there used to be an API. I think it's still there, but I'm not sure if how many restrictions they have put now. So, if this is your project or something around it, those are some things, some example. Again, I have posted this, I've uploaded this PowerPoint on GitHub, on GitLab. So take a look at it. But again, the preference is, of course, you come up with your own project and see what you can do. All right, any questions? Okay, so at the end of today, before 2, please, and I tell them, but still, there's some team that will just slack me out their ideas. Please create 1-page Word document, and then include all of this: project title, your team name, the team name that you selected, team members. Also mention who is the team lead. Okay. Then give me a description, um, and then what APIs that you found that you're going to be using. Okay, sketch the design means could be a paper, pencil, something on the whiteboard. Take a picture, put it over there, right? That's it. There's no, you can get as fancy as you want, maybe use a visual, Microsoft Visual or something, that's fine too. But if you want to keep it simple, put it on paper, pencil, draw it on whiteboard, take a picture, and put it in your Word document. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, nothing critical, just 1-page document. Before 2 p.m., please slag those documents out. Put it on the main channel. This way we will see it, and everybody in the class will also see, oh, what everybody is doing. Okay. The only thing I ask is, once you submit or once you slag out your project idea, please come and see the TAs or me. We just want to make sure we are going to go through the document and kind of approve it. I've rarely seen anybody getting disapproved. We just want to make sure that you are not taking in too much or too little. Okay, we want to make sure you're kind of following, you understand what is going on, and we will say, okay, looks good, approved, you guys can work on it. Okay, so please, before 2 p.m., when you're working on your projects, project title, team name, team members, team lead, what the project does, quick sketch, and tell me the APIs that you're using. That's all. Okay, is that clear? Please send me a Word document. If you don't, what I've done is I will create a Word document and I put it, because for some reason I cannot live with that. I create a Word document and I put everything in it, and then I have a nice folder where every project is, right? So please don't take advantage of my OCDness. Create a Word document for me and send it. Okay? Any questions? Okay. There was one more thing. What was I going to say? So we have our project description. You guys are going to send me that. Okay. Let's see. What do you have? Oops. Okay. Any questions? There are a few activities, and these are related to your project. We will do it I will show you some of the collaboration tools. But before that, any questions? Is everybody clear? Requirements, presentation, everything good? What do you have to submit today? Okay. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys is attendance is of course still mandatory. Every day for the next 2 weeks, you guys have to come in the class and mark yourself present. It counts. But I understand all of us are adults, professional. Once you come in the class, everything is good. I have gone through the activities or gone through my rant, whatever I want to say. There are spaces everywhere on this campus, right? Don't go to the nursing part. On second floor, there are rooms. Over here, there are rooms. You can sit in the lobby. First floor is there. Or if your group decides you want to go off-site, work somewhere else, I'm totally fine. I trust you guys. You guys are going to work on your project. I don't care. The main point is your project gets done. If you want to do it off-site, that's fine. But remember, attendance is still mandatory. So come in the class as a group, mark your attendance, listen to me for 15-20 minutes. If you want to go off-site, totally fine with me. I'm not going to come and micromanage or check. All right? I trust you guys. You guys are going to work on your projects. Is that clear? Okay. But again, on this campus, there are rooms. You guys work on your homework. You guys know where the rooms are. Pick a room. You can work over there. Second floor, first floor. Doesn't matter. Just don't go in the nursing building. Okay. Is that clear? All right. So what I want you guys to do today is there are a few activities, and the first one is just for one person on your team, preferably team lead. What we are going to do is we are going to create a GitHub repository, and you are going to add your team as collaborators. The reason is so that they can push and pull the code. Okay, so let me demonstrate what you have to do, and then you guys are going to create that repository. So again, this is just one person job. Everybody kind of look over the shoulder, make sure you understand what's happening. So for example, let me go to my repositories. I'm going to create a new repository. Okay, that's what you guys will be doing. Let's call it project 1. Again, name whatever you want. This repo is for project 1. Keep it public, otherwise your collaborators will not be able to see it. Okay. Initialize with a readme, yes. Let's see, do they have one for JavaScript? No. And create repository. Okay, so you will go in settings, and this is again your team lead is doing. When you go into settings, you will see collaborators, and that's where you will add your collaborators email address or your GitHub IDs. Okay, so the team lead is going to be adding 3 people on this repo. Okay, for example, can Ethan or one of the TAs, can you Slack me out your GitHub ID? I'll add somebody over here. Okay, so create your project, add everybody as a collaborator, and then we'll continue on the next activity. So for example, I have added Chester, and I'm going to add Ethan as my collaborators. These are their GitHub IDs, and kind of shows up. Add it. Once you send the request, the collaborators have to go and accept it. Okay, you will see this awaiting response. The collaborators have to go and accept it, then it shows up over here. So as soon as Chester and Ethan accepts my response, it's going to get refreshed. Okay, so Chester accepted. This is how it should look like. guys good? Everybody is collaborator, added to the so go into your settings, collaborators, and it should show nobody already. Oh, in your email? Yeah, email. If you didn't, there's a box over here that says copy link. So whoever created this, copy that link and send it to him. So make sure when whoever created this, you don't put it in. Okay. So you shouldn't see anybody here where you're seeing other emails. You guys do it? Good? No, they will be happy. If they don't get you updated my read already? Hey, should have waited. I'm going to show the next activity, Ethan, and then you should have updated and then it shouldn't have worked. That's okay. All right, is any team waiting or everybody, you guys are good? Everybody is good? Collaborator? Okay. All right. So let's look at the next part. All right. So as you guys can see on the screen, my project README has already been updated, right? Nobody should be able to do this. What these guys did was they made changes and pushed it to my master branch. They shouldn't be able to do it, right? Now remember, in collaboration, that's the problem, that people are updating constantly. We want to make sure that everybody is in sync with our code. Okay? So what we are going to do is, remember your master branch is your sacred branch, right? Protect it like a baby sea turtle. Okay, you don't want baby sea turtles dying, right? Protect it, right? Nobody should be able to push to your master branch until somebody has reviewed your code. Okay, at this point there is no security, but the next activity is we are going to protect our master branch so that it is protected against people like Chester and Ethan pushing it directly without any authorization. Okay, so how do you do it? Go into your settings and then you will see branches. All right, you will see branch protection rules. The default is set to master, that's okay, and then you're going to add a rule. Let's select, oops, master. Require pull request reviews. Okay, you want anybody who's trying to merge to master has to go through a code review. Okay, So you're going to say this, including the administrator. Who's the administrator? The person who created the GitHub repo, right? You don't want them to be pushing as well. So please check mark this. Require pull request, require one approval, right? Some teams are fine with it. If you are super strict team, you can have 2 reviewers, up to you guys. Okay? Usually one is fine, that somebody is going to be reviewing the code. Okay? So this way, nobody will be able to push to master directly. And we will take a look at it, we'll verify that's the case. Okay, so your team leads, please make sure everybody this rule has been created and it shows up over here. So this way your master branch is all good and nobody should be able to push to master. And we'll do how do we make sure that this is the case. Okay? Yes. Yes, we will have to. Yeah. Since you cannot push to master, you have to create separate branches, and I'll go through that in a minute. How do we do that? Okay. All right. So since your master is protected, you cannot push to your master. What's the other thing? You have to create your own branches. And then you're going to merge those branches into master. And I'll show you in a minute. We'll demonstrate it. Somebody will make some changes. And then I'll show you how to create branches and all. Is everybody done with the setting? Setting branches, put in the master. And then check boxes. Require pull request, include the administrators. Now, the way to test this out is clone this repo on your local, right? Make some changes and do a push to master. You should get an error saying push failed or cannot merge and all those kind of issues. So go ahead, everybody, clone your repository because that's where your code is going to be, and try to do a push to master to make sure that the authorization is there. So, for example, I'm going to go to my project. I'm going to clone this. So this is everybody is doing it because, well, eventually everybody is going to be adding code, right? So this, I've cloned it. I'm going to go ahead and add something to my master and then see if this works. Made some changes, do a git add, git commit. So you should get some kind of this error. Okay? I'm trying to push to master, it doesn't work. Everybody should be getting this error because you cannot directly push to master. Nobody in your team should be able to do this. All right, any groups still working on it? Because the next part is I'm going to show you how to get your code in your master. Visual Studio has some nice tools. If you want to see what branch you are um, on command line, you can do a git status, and it shows you what branch you are on. Was it git branch also? Let's see, git branch. Okay, git branch. If you type in, it tells you what branch you are on and how many branches do you have on your local. The star over here tells you what branch you are currently on. Or from Visual Studio Code on your left bottom, you see master over here. This will tell you what branch you are on also. Okay, everybody good? Move on. All right, so now I cannot push it to master. What do I have to do? I have to create branches, right? Everybody is going to be creating branches, pushing their code, and then delete that branch. Don't delete the master other than master. Now, branches are preferably short-lived. They are based on tasks, right? For example, right now I'm trying to update README. Let's suppose in my project I was given the task to update the README, okay? So I'm going to create a branch. Let me clear this. So how do you create a branch? Is called git space checkout minus b. You will use checkout in a different format as well, but if you put the flag minus b, this means you are creating a branch on your site. Okay, so I'm going to create a branch and I'm going to say update readme. This is the task that I'm working on. Okay, the next thing is space origin slash, and then you can put any name, but I usually put the same name as my branch name. So what is going on over here? The first thing after minus b, update readme, is going to create a branch, but that will be the branch that is local to your computer. It only exists on your computer. So if you run this command, that is also fine. It will work. But this branch is only on your local. It's not connected to the GitHub right now. Okay? If you put in this extra thing, origin slash update readme, the second portion is going to go ahead and connect it to your GitHub, to the website. You will be able to see that branch exist over here. Okay, only if you put in origin slash a branch name, right? What the second command is doing is you are saying, hey, create a branch. Of course, create a local branch, this one. Okay, and then connect this local branch to the GitHub repo. Create a branch over there too, and then make sure that a connection is there. So when I do a push, it's going to go ahead and push it to this branch on your GitHub. That's what the second command is doing, right? Again, you can skip the second one, but at some point you will get an error and you will have to do this if you want to push your code to GitHub. Okay, so better way is just do it the first time. So git space checkout space minus b flag says I'm creating a branch. Okay, and then the branch names. Enter. Ooh. What did I do wrong here? Do I have the slash messed up? Is not a commit and a branch cannot be created from it. Git checkout. Let's see.
I think the name's supposed to go in brackets.
Is what?
I think the name of the branch is supposed to go in brackets. Like after the minus B, space, bracket,
Like square brackets or parentheses?
square bracket.
No, this should still be okay. Trying to, maybe I'm missing quotes or something. I'm trying to remember what's. It should be. Am I in the right? Let's see. Get status. Yeah, I'm in the right branch. Your branch is ahead of this. Nothing to commit. Add. It might be because I added something that I was trying to push. Git. Oops. That's okay. Let's go ahead and create git space checkout minus b. See if this works. Okay. Get status, get branch. Okay, let's start with this one. The origin should work, but I'll show you what the error I'm going to get, and they will give you a helpful command to complete it. Okay, so what I did a git space checkout minus b and then a branch name. Okay, now if you go up over here, refresh it, you will see no branch added over here. Okay, not the one that I created. This I think Ethan or Chester might have created this one. Okay, so if I go to my code, you will see the branch over here is update readme. This is my new branch. Now this branch has no security. I can push, I can add my code, I can do everything with this branch. Okay, so let me go ahead and see git status. Okay, git add space dot git commit minus m update readme. Okay, and then git push, and you're going to get this error. It's not an error, it's an information. The thing is that we didn't use the origin one, that's why it's giving you this error. So all you have to do is, they are giving you the command, you have to just copy and use this one. That's all you have to do. Okay, just understand, it failed, but they're saying if you want to push it, use this command. Okay, so just copy it, paste it, and then if you push it, it's going to go ahead, create a branch on GitHub, and then push your changes to it. Okay, so just to verify, let's go to our GitHub, and there's my branch, right? Refresh it, make sure it's there. Sorry, there. This is my branch, which is updated. Okay, now you see GitHub is going to give you a helpful hint over here. The reason is it is checking by security. I cannot put it to master, so I have to merge my chain. Somehow I have to get it to master, and this is how you would do it. You would say compare and pull request. Okay, and generally you would say what you are trying to do. So let's say, let's get some fancy. So I'm going to say feature. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be like this. Preferable so that people can see what's going on. I updated readme. These are the comments that your reviewer will see it and they will understand what's going on. It's going to look like this. Okay, so what I did was I updated readme file and then create pull request. Okay, so I am the one who's trying to merge. This is what I'm going to see. You see, it's blocked. I cannot push my changes. It's going to say review is required, merging is blocked, so I cannot push it. Now, this is where my teammates come in, and then Ethan or Chester will get notification, or I'm going to tell them, hey, Ethan or Chester, can you go ahead and I'm going to take this, slag this link out to your somebody who slag it out to your team group, or say, hey, can somebody review my pull request, right? So I'm going to send this to Chester or Ethan, and there you say Ethan reviewed it, and he's saying, oh, I approve these changes. Okay. I think he didn't click the approve button. Did you click the approve button?
So that first limit code, is that good?
Well, it seems like Chester doesn't agree with it. Seems like Ethan. So there seems like a disagreement going on among the team. All right. So how do you verify it? If you see file changes over it, what these guys are doing is they're going into file changes, and I'll show you the same. Somebody will create a pull request. This file changes actually change what happens. So it actually says, oh, a README was updated, and somebody added this part, and that's what I'm kind of updating. Okay. So this is what it shows up once somebody approves your changes. Okay. And then you can go ahead and do a merge pull request. Okay. And confirm changes. And go back to your project, and your master is now updated with something new. Okay. This is the process. What I prefer is once my branch is done, everything is good, my task is done, I usually delete my local branch. Okay. For every other change, create a new one. Oh yeah. Okay. Now if you go back over here, my branch should be deleted, so I can remove it from my local also, and I'll show you the command. So right now, git branch. I have 2 branches. How do I switch to master? The command is git checkout without the -b flag. If you want to switch it, switch your branches. If I'm right now I'm on this branch, I want to go back to this one. So I'm going to do a git checkout without the -b flag, and then just say master. Okay. I have switched the branches. Do a git branch. Make sure I'm in master. Okay. Do a git pull so I can get the latest changes from master. Okay. My master has been updated, and since I removed this branch from GitHub, I'm going to delete it from my local as well. The command is git space branch -d, oops, minus -d, and then the branch name. Update readme. So my branch is deleted. If I do a git branch, this is what I have. Okay, I'm done with my task. Everything is good. I've deleted my branch. Okay. Let's see. There is another branch over here. Can you guys create a pull request so I can show you guys how do we approve that? So there's initial files. Somebody's working on it. Ethan, are you creating a pull request? Okay. Once you're done, just let me know. I can go over here and see it. Okay. So please see over here this pull request. This shows how many pull requests are in process. So if there's a pull request, please be courteous. Go ahead, review it, and see if you can approve it. So there's a 1 pull request waiting. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go and see what changes are required. Okay. I will go back here, file changes. Oh, no changes? What is this? Oh, you just added the file? Is that what it is? Okay. So he's adding a file. Let's go back here. Oops. And then the changes look good, so I'm going to come back here. And then I am going to Oh, where's the approve sign? To me. Looks good. Okay, looks good to me. I have reviewed. All right, I'm going to approve these changes and then submit my review. So these changes are good. All right. Preferably, the person who is approving the changes, I would say it's their responsibility to make sure you click the merge request button also, because so I made some code changes, I pushed it, I'm waiting for somebody to approve it. Whoever is approving it is already on this page. Preferably, once you approve it, just go ahead and accept it and confirm the merge also. Otherwise, it's going to remain over here forever until somebody goes and clicks. So if you are reviewing it, review it, approve it. If it looks good, approve it and then merge it, delete the branch so that a new branch should be created for the new task. Okay? So this is how everybody is going to be creating branches and pushing their code to master. All right, any questions? Okay, so all until 2, you guys are going to work on your project, come up with an idea, come by the TAs, myself, make sure it looks good, send it before 2 p.m. Again, there's no official lunch break. Noon, you want to take lunch right now, come back, do it. I don't care. The only thing I care is before 2 p.m., please send your project proposals. That's all I need. Okay, everybody clear? Good? All right. So work on your projects. Let me know the project proposals and we'll go from there.